Luffy might not be the strongest Straw Hat, and I can prove it. I have analysed every fight, every feat, and every power-up in Elbaf to rank all 10 Straw Hats from the weakest to the strongest. And by the end, we're settling this. The rules are simple. Strength, Haki, Devil Fruit ability, confirmed feats, and what each Straw Hat has actually shown. No bounty logic, no popularity votes, and no made-up final forms. Now, if you enjoy fast One Piece breakdowns with actual receipts behind the rankings, then subscribe. Because the real surprise is not just the number 1 spot. It's the Straw Hat that I believe could make the biggest leap. Starting at number 10, it's Usopp. And before anyone gets mad, this is not a character ranking. Usopp is one of the most important Straw Hats emotionally. He has saved the crew with one impossible shot more times than almost anyone else. But in a straight fight right now, he's dead last. His observation Haki is elite. His pop greens are useful, and when the story needs a clutch long-range save, Usopp is exactly the person you want on the roof, on a tower, or somewhere nobody else can reach. But his ceiling has not caught up to the rest of the crew post Wano's power jump. He just doesn't have the durability for the fighters that are above him. Now, he doesn't have a monster form, a Devil Fruit upgrade, or a reliable finishing move that works against stronger enemies in the final saga. Now, that doesn't mean that he's useless. It means he needs distance, preparation, and a target he can actually outsmart. Usopp is number 10. For now. Because the next Straw Hat has something Usopp doesn't. A living thundercloud that has already hurt one of Kaido's strongest officers. At number 9, we have Nami. Now, this is where the list gets a bit weird. Nami is not stronger than most of the crew in a clean one-on-one fight. Her physical durability is still one of the lowest on the ship, but Zeus changes every matchup. Nami's climb attack is not just a weather tool anymore. With Zeus inside it, she has a genuine finishing power. Ulti was a Toby Ropo. Nami didn't beat her in a fair solo match, but she did prove that her lightning can hurt people who should be far above her normal weight class. And that's why she's not number 10. Nami can steal a win. She can control the battlefield. She can make a stronger opponent pay for underestimating her. But if the opponent closes the gap before Zeus lands, now that's when it gets ugly fast. Nami is a dangerous glass cannon. She's number 9. But the next Straw Hat doesn't need range to become dangerous. He can become the biggest body on the entire crew. At number 8, it's Chopper. Monster Point is still one of the best emergency power-ups in the crew. It's the size, the raw strength, the fact that Chopper can stand in front of enemies nobody expects him to face. In Wano, he held Queen back, took damage that would erase most of the lower Straw Hats, and kept fighting while also carrying the responsibility of curing the Ice-Oni virus. Now that is not a small feat, but Chopper's power has its timer, and that matters. Against someone below commander level, Monster Point can absolutely change the fight. Against the people above him on this list, he needs too much to go right before the form runs out. Now, he's definitely stronger than Nami and Usopp in a direct fight. He's more durable. He has far more physical pressure. But he's still number 8 because his best form has a built-in time limit. And now we hit the first placement that fans will argue about. Because number 7 has no Haki, no giant robot, and no monster transformation. He just doesn't stay down. Number 7 is Brook. Now, Brook is one of the hardest Straw Hats to rank because his power doesn't look normal. He's not built for a slugfest. He wins through speed, technique, and abilities that ignore what most opponents expect. Now, his soul powers are the key. Brook can freeze enemies, cut without needing huge physical force, and damage things that are not supposed to be easy to hurt. And that's why he was able to stand in front of Big Mom at all. Now, he didn't win that fight, obviously, but he was dangerous enough to make the moment matter. Brook also has one of the best movement sets on the crew. He can get in, strike, and get out before the slower enemies understand what's actually happened. Now, the reason he's not higher is simple. Once the fight becomes a durability contest against an elite opponent, Brook has fewer answers than the next few characters. Still, he has the kind of weird ability that can ruin a matchup, and that puts him at 7. Because number 6 doesn't slowly wear opponents down. Once her strongest form comes out, she breaks them. Number 6 is Nico Robin. Robin has one of the most decisive finishing moves in the entire crew. The Monio Fleur is not subtle. When Robin decides the fight is over, she can create enough raw force to crush enemies who are physically stronger than they look. Black Maria was not fodder. She was a Tony Ropo with reach, durability, and a whole battlefield built around trapping Robin. And Robin still broke through it. Her Devil Fruit is also terrifying in the right matchup. She can restrain, disarm, blind, and attack from angles most fighters can't even cover. Now, if you don't have the Haki, speed, or awareness to stop her limbs from appearing, Robin can end a fight before it even becomes one. So, why is she not in the top 5? Well, it's because the people above her have more reliable answers against high-level durability. Robin's strongest form is brutal, but it leaves her body exposed. If she grabs the wrong opponent, she takes the damage too. Robin at 6 is not disrespectful. It's the proof that the crew has become just ridiculous over time. Number 5 is the Straw Hat who can take a hit, fire back, and turn the battlefield into a weapons factory. Number 5 is Franky. Now, Franky is the crew's most underrated pure fighter. He doesn't have Haki, and he doesn't have a Devil Fruit. He just has a body built like a war machine and enough firepower to make almost every fight unfair. General Franky gives him armor, reach, cannons, and a genuine answer to enemies who want to win by overpowering him. Radical Beam is still one of the scariest attacks in the crew because it's not a joke move. It's a laser. His win over Sasaki showed exactly why he's here. Franky can take the strongest armorist opponent, figure out the weakness, and keep throwing weapons at the problem until the problem simply disappears. The gap between Franky and Robin is small. Robin has the more dangerous instant finish, but Franky is stronger over a long fight because he can keep outputting damage whilst his armor absorbs the punishment. Now that's why Franky takes number 5. From this point on, every placement has the case for the upper end of the crew, and the next man has fought at that level for years. At number 4, we have Jinbe. Now he's the first real debate placement. Jinbe is not flashy. He doesn't need to be. He's a former warlord, a veteran of Marineford, and one of the most complete fighters on the ship. He has armament Haki, observation Haki, fishman karate, experienced against monsters, and in the right environment, he gets even more dangerous. His fight with Who's Who was not close once Jinbe got serious. He handled a Roku user, tanked the fight, and put him down with raw control. Jinbe's biggest strength is his reliability. He doesn't need a transformation timer. He doesn't need a special setup. He walks into the fight absolutely ready. And yes, I know the Sanji fans are already typing, but keep typing, because next, we're at number 3. Now this is where the list stops being about safe placements. Number 3 is Sanji. Sanji is above Jinbe because the Gemma Awakening completely changes the conversation. His exoskeleton gives him durability he never had before. His speed is absurd. His regeneration and resistance let him keep fighting through damage that used to slow him down. And Ifrit Jinbe gives him a finishing level that is miles above his old Diable Jambe attacks. Queen was not just a big target. He was a commander with science upgrades, absurd durability, and enough weapons to overwhelm most of the crew. Now Sanji beat him after unlocking that new level of power in the middle of the fight. That puts Sanji way over Jinbe. Not because Jinbe is weak, because Sanji now has the speed and damage to overwhelm him before the fight becomes a slow, technical brawl. But he's still not number 2. Because when the next Straw Hat lands a clean hit, the fight doesn't get longer, it usually ends. Number 2 is Zoro. King of Hell was not just an aura name. It's Zoro forcing Enma under control, coating his blades with Conqueror's Haki, and turning every clean hit into a finishing threat. King was built to be hard to damage. Ancient Zoan durability, Lunarian defense, speed, fire, and a body that could tank attacks other commanders couldn't. Zoro learned the rule, adapted, and beat him anyway. Now that is the difference between Zoro and Sanji right now. Sanji can overwhelm you, Zoro can end you. And that's why the gap can matter so much in a power ranking. Because the captain is playing a different game now. At number 1, it's Luffy. There's no serious argument against this at all. Gear 5 Luffy has a level of freedom and unpredictability no one else on the crew can even touch. His fruit is awakened, his Haki is elite, he has Conqueror's coding, he has Future Sight, and he has fought Kaido, Kizaru, Lucci, and the 5 Elders on a level the rest of the crew simply has not reached yet. Luffy's only real weakness is his stamina. Gear 5 really costs him. Sometimes badly. But that doesn't change the ranking. It just gives the story its next question. What happens when Luffy needs to fight an enemy who will not go down before the timer catches him? Now that's not a reason to put Zoro above him, It's simply the setup for Luffy's next power upgrade. And now, for a bit of a twist. The person most likely to change this list is not Zoro, and it's not Sanji. It's actually Usopp. Not today, not with his current feats, but Elbaf is the one place in the story built around his dream. If Usopp gets the power up fans have been waiting for since Dressrosa, he could jump more spots than anyone else in the crew. And that's exactly why this ranking is fun. The top is stable, the middle is chaos, and the bottom has the biggest room to explode. Now before I get to the final list, I have two honourable mentions. First is Zeus. Now I know he's a part of Nami's power right now, but he deserves his own mention. Because he's the reason number 9 can threaten fighters who should be way above her. Second is the Thousand Sunny. Now, I know it's not a straw hat, but Franky's ship is the battlefield weapon. Coup de burst, the ship's cannons, and the crew's ability to fight around it are a major reason the lower half of the list is not as simple as it looks. Now here are the final rankings. At 10 we have Usopp, 9 Nami, 8 Chopper, 7 Brook, 6 Robin, 5 Franky, 4 Jinbe, 3 Sanji, 2 Zoro, and at number 1 we have Luffy. What's your ranking? And more importantly, who do you have at number 3? Do you have Sanji or Jinbe? Drop your full list down below, because I want to see which placement actually starts the biggest fights. Guys, thank you. Remember to like and subscribe.